Everyone, welcome back. It's Dim and Kedge back for Namaste Rich. I have forgotten what episode this is, but whatever it is, Kedge has a nice beard now.
Bro, just overdue for a haircut. And I did it very sneakily today, but I had a little sneaky surprise. I was going to do a little show of baby Kyra. So I just thought she's not very happy at the moment. One second, let me just cover up a little bit. It was a bit hot today, so we just kind of took her clothes off. But I thought I'd just do a sneaky show.
Oh, that's our first special guest, the best one. Oh man. Oh, hello. Oh, she looks so beautiful, man. Oh my
Yeah.
Lord. Oh my Lord.
But yeah, my wife Guy will pop in a moment. I'll hand her over. But just thought I would just wanted to share with you, my bro. And so
Oh,
no, I wanted to just make that's so precious. All right, I'm gonna palm her over. One
yeah,
second.
no problem. Um, Anyone listening, I'm definitely speechless, man. Like it, um, there's getting into work mode and stuff, and then there's like the most important things in life, like what we just saw then. So, wow.
Yeah, I was just yeah, it's part of the reason why I'm a bit less. Not it's been a bit long since I had my last haircut, so I was overdue for one. But this time next week I'll look a lot better.
No, 100%. I think we understand. I was literally like Kedge and I, everyone, just for you, for those listening, like, we honestly like fired up the call and we spoke for like maybe 10 seconds max. And then we were just like, all right, shall we just hit record? And I was just telling him, bro, I'm fucking ripped, man. I'm ripped, man. And we can even talk about that, the like mentality and stuff. But anyway, how are you, my dear kid?
Yeah, no, man. I was actually, funnily enough, I was just going to ask you the same question. I think sometimes just rip in and just start talking about stuff, and this is really the only forum we're really talking in, once a week at the
Yeah,
moment. So
yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna do some stuff outside of this, but I just got to just check in, man, and just see like just how you're doing. Like for me, I know you asked me, but yeah, for me, honestly, like pretty engrossed, like in baby world at the moment. So just at the moment, just trying to, as much as still doing little bits and bobs for the business, but like you only get this time once. Want to be as like present as I can for it. So just yeah, I'm just fully there at the moment and just ticking a few things along on the side. But yeah, just loving every minute of it. So that's just me at the moment. But yeah.
Oh, that's gorgeous, man. That's gorgeous. And well done on setting up your life, my bro, in a way that you can be like that's my dream as well. It really like no bullshit. That is
Mm.
genuinely like a huge, huge dream in my life that when my kids come along, like I want to be able to be as present as possible with them, you know?
Yeah, no, nice man. But yeah, man, how are you? How are you?
Bro, I'm fucking destroyed, ripped today. Having said that, like emotionally and stuff, like I'm good. I'm actually quite happy. I'll say for everyone listening, like, I don't know if Kedge, I actually think that Kedge is going to have different thoughts on this, which is going to be pretty cool.
Mm.
Um, because basically, my friends, like, why I'm fucking ripped is because, like, I just at the moment have been having the mentality of doing all that can be done each day. There's a book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, and one of the things that he said, and he, by the way, he speaks about, by the way, the law of attraction book, where Rhonda Byrne's book, The Law of Attraction, she even says that the one of the main things that inspired her to write that book was the Science of Getting Rich, the book, the source material, the book that I'm talking about, and in that book he says do all that can be done each day. And so the reason I'm sharing this is because uh, to me, like one of my friends said this to me recently. He's like, Dim, I used to see you walking into the cafe in the evening at like 7 or 8 p.m. when we'd just be hanging out, where we live. Um, and you would just be fucking munted, like totally destroyed. And my friend was like, Dim, I never like understood before, and you were like, and Dim, you would say, man, you say you're really happy and stuff. But and FYI, kids, like, because for those listening, I live in Ubud in Bali these days. And so it's like a spiritual home, right? Like globally, it's a spiritual hub. And so everyone, like no bullshit, pretty much every day people would see me and be like, Dim, you look so tired, you look so tired, you need to rest or you need to take a break or whatever. But to me, I personally feel like I feel like I know what my priorities are. I feel like I'm good to my parents. Like, so like when I speak to family, like, or people that constitute as family, example, Kedge, like, I feel like I'm very good at being present and making it a priority when those moments come. But apart from that, like, I feel like my priority is definitely work and stuff. And so, and gym and stuff. So I feel like I completely give it all when I do that. So that yeah, in the evening it's like I'm spent, but I'm not I'm very fulfilled. I'm terribly fulfilled, I would say. I'm really happy because I feel like I'm fucking alive on this mission and you know, it's making that small 0.5% progress or whatever it is every single day. Or I'm trying to. So, you know, especially where I live here, I feel like a lot of people, not that it bothers me, but I feel like a lot of people like make it wrong to be tired or whatever. But for me, it's like here it is. We're here. We are here, Kedge and I, recording this on Friday afternoon. For me, I feel like very okay with the fact that I'm fucking tired because when I'm what I'm also thinking about is like all the things that I did this week that I'm actually like insanely grateful for that I did them. Like one of them being Bro, bro, I don't know if you saw on Instagram, you probably wouldn't have seen. Ironically, the one day like I put my phone away is the day like I want to show it to you. But bro, I basically been recording two videos. Like one thing that was really breaking my heart, man, was like it's my eighth year into the coaching journey, and I really feel like if I had been more consistent with YouTube, I reckon I would be pretty big on YouTube by
Mm.
now. Maybe anyone would, you know, if they were consistent with it. But I've really struggled to just make the time to film. And anyone who knows filming, it's like it's not, I would say it's not that easy. Like there's a fair bit of effort that goes behind filming, and it's can be quite draining of your energy. So I say all that to say that insanely happy because it's like there's the most important skill to me from entrepreneurship journey is like the sales skills and the outbound and lead generation, all that stuff. I feel like I put a lot of energy into learning how to doing that, and I like kind of know how to do that, and it's not as hard for me anymore. So I can kind of push them off to later in the day. And what I've been doing in the morning is like after I go to the gym and stuff, and I'm in a pretty good like energy and mood and I'm fresh. I've been recording two videos per day, and I would
Yeah.
say they're fucking really good
Yeah,
videos.
man. I probably don't remember. But yeah, I've been watching them. I've been watching them. So I think I put a couple of comments on them as well. So I think like the day in the life videos, is that the ones you're
Yeah,
talking
oh,
about?
those
Yeah.
ones also actually.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one I'm referring to. This might be different. But yeah, yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I know I'm hogging the mic, man. Like, it was like there's another video I released it on Instagram, and I've really struggled to release videos on Instagram because there's so much about Instagram, which is it needs to be short form, you know, like under 90 seconds, and I really struggle to give any kind of real value in less than 90 seconds, I guess. And it's like, I kind of just said fuck it. And I just want to actually help people, like go back to the basics of like why I got in this game and just to help. And so I started to like, you know, basically I have have two phones. So I got the phone that's recording and I got this phone. And then this phone, I'm reading a message that someone sent me like a coaching question, and then I just answer it. And bro, like I posted that and it was 8 minutes. And I
Mm.
posted it on my Instagram, and bro, it like full popped off, man. It was like one of
yeah.
my best performing pieces of content, you know?
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Glad. Nah, so happy to hear. Like, yeah, I saw. 'Cause I don't have Insta, and I should get on it for my own marketing purposes. But yeah, I think I saw that. That's the same. You got that on YouTube as well, right? Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah. Sorry.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one.
yeah,
That's
yeah. Nice, nice.
Bro, so I'm very grateful that I have, and it's actually been really good. Like I've genuinely been getting into a flow and like recording really well. And so I'm really grateful that like every day I've been record like 5 days a week I've been recording sick fucking content. And because I got like an incredible assistant, she helps me just like quickly cut it up, like very efficiently, just cut it up, release it.
Mm.
So, yeah, man, for me, this is like a huge, because to me, videos, like high quality videos where we're genuinely sharing like really authentic IP that's actually helping motherfuckers, like I think that that is like it's real asset building to me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry, man. I know that was a bit of a monologue, but yeah,
No, man. No,
that's
I love it. And I was just thinking, man, nah, I'm glad that you're doing it, man. Because I think it's like the longer form, and 'cause even in this, like something in our 1 hour chats, man, we can't even finish a point, because even that feels like sometimes time cramp because there's so much nuance in everything, right? So that
indeed.
whole 30-second, 90-second video is like, man, you're not going to get to the crux of it. So I'm glad like you've got that time to, build it out and you can actually give that nuanced answer that, people actually need. And I think people like that. That's what, and the people are craving that as well. Because I think that phase of short form, like it's there, but I think people are over it as well. People are craving that, and obviously I know like people like Joe Rogan have been around for a while now, but he's talking about 3 hours, going deep and those points, and people have got time. People have got time for that, and not that he's new by any means, but I feel like that's where the world is at now. So,
Bro, amen. And I was studying, and you might like this, Kedge. Like I was like deeply studying basically it's the ICP. So for those people listening, ICP means ideal client profile, which basically means like you're deeply study. Another word for it is called your avatar, which is basically the an embodiment or a caricature of who your ideal client is. And I have spent so much time and still not enough
mm,
deeply researching and using all the AI tools under the, blah, 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 to really get to know at a visceral level, like what my ideal client is feeling right now. To the point, like, the Google Deep Research, like it went through all of the like university studies on my ideal client and, where they're at and what their goals are and what they're struggling with. But then it also he went through like Reddit forums and he went through chat forums and it was a really comprehensive report. And so the questions and the content and whatever that we're formulating, it's
mm,
from that level of
mm,
calibration, you know? And so and where I'm going with this point, man, is like when it comes to someone who actually wants to buy like my product, for example, like the truth is the short form thing might get attention and generate traffic, which is very important and valid, but the people who are actually going to buy will actually want to consume
mm,
long form, you
mm,
know? And so like I'm one of those people. So for example, like there's a dude who he's kind of spiritual, but he's the producer, music producer for like a lot of really good rappers. So, like ASAP Rocky and stuff like that. This guy is like the music producer and he's like the spiritual dude.
mm,
And he talks about how like he just talks about like he's like the metaphysics of how to make a banger is his
mm,
whole thing. Anyway, man, like why I'm sharing this is because um he was when I'm watching his videos, man, they're all over 3 minutes actually.
mm,
But I just play them because there's so much value and I just listen to them, you know? So yeah, basically like long story short, it felt like a return to trusting myself more about what I actually think is gonna like and just helping people.
yeah.
Yeah, and in number one, the fact that it's getting produced so consistently.
Yeah.
And then yeah, and it feels authentic and blah 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 blah. And then it actually worked. Is tremendous for me.
Yeah.
So that's the genuine thing of how I am, man.
Ah, awesome, bro. That's so good, man. Man, so good. Man, I was gonna ask actually, as in like, man, we can take this conversation wherever it needs to go today, but just
Mm.
yeah, on that, like, what and from the research and things what you're doing, like what are you actually finding? Like, do you feel like there's more and more people that, as in, people always need the work, obviously, but now we're like one like two questions I want to ask. One is, with all this stuff with AI and all these things coming in there, people are going to start, what I can see, start thinking for themselves less and less, and which also, they're going to start losing themselves more and more, right? Because that's just a thought that I was having. So keen to hear your thoughts on that. And second, one somewhat unrelated but related, is just like, and I would just think everyone from our kind of background has a similar story. Came here, parents worked hard, worked two jobs, did all this kind of stuff. But I just feel like a lot of our generation, like, I don't know if entitled is the right word, but we complain and whinge and this. But like, man, we're not working. Like, we idolize our parents for the struggles that they went through, and we work hard. And I say we, not me and you, right? Because we're working hard. But I'm talking at our generation. Um, yeah, and then I feel like the work's not really put in, and then it's just like, so just two separate things there. But I'm just kind of keen to like hear what your thoughts are around that.
Man, I think you'll like this, Kedge, and I think people at home will really like this as well. There's a study called there's a book called The Fourth Turning, and there's basically look, it's kind of correlated across many different cultures. So in the Chinese culture, I believe they have a saying, which is the first generation makes the money, the second generation preserves the money, the third generation squanders the money. So basically the first generation, like the Western version for this is they're called the hero generation. So the generation that became adults in the World War I, World War II time, they became the hero generation that created the golden age, being like the 50s and 60s and the baby boomer. Like they created the momentum that's wearing off now, basically those guys 100 years ago, because they went through
Yeah.
all levels of fuckery. And it's basically like hard times create strong people, and strong people create good times, but good times create weak people, and weak people create bad times, and bad times create strong people, and then the cycle goes around and around and around. And you can amplify that psychological concept, and you can see in the scale of like a roughly 25 years, there's a turning in society where you go for like from this golden age to basically people just becoming soft. This is like real. And the reason people don't really believe this stuff is because it hasn't happened yet in our lifetime. But because it hasn't happened yet in our lifetime, and therefore we don't think it can happen, the truth is it does happen every 100 years.
Why do you say it hasn't happened? As in, for me, it feels like it's happening. Like, as in, as in,
Amen. But that's because you're tapped in. But go on, go on, go on, go on.
oh, right. No, no, I'm curious. I was keen to dive into that point. And I want to kind of, second question I ask is that, how do we bring awareness to that so people can break out of it? Because I think it's like, yeah, because I feel like in general, like, as in, like I said, like that same point, just to repeat it, like particularly from our backgrounds, it was, oh, our parents came here, they came from war-torn countries, came from this place, they came on nothing on their back, and they worked two jobs just to give us blah 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 and everything. But then, for the most part, as in, yeah, a lot of us are working hard, but not to that same, and we can obviously work smarter and better because we've got that safety net, but we're definitely not working as hard as we could. And what's the, like, what, yeah, so when you're saying we haven't experienced it yet, isn't that the reality of what it is right now?
Yeah, yeah. So, man, so for example, right now, people in our current generation, I would say, and I'm
Yeah,
not trying to poo-poo on our generation or whatever, I'm not
for
trying to do
sure.
any of that.
Of
Like,
course.
um, man, the reality is people in our generation have it, including myself, have
Mhm.
it way better than, for example, our parents who
Yeah.
came from war-torn countries and had to fucking build it from nothing, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in a big way, we don't have the vast majority of us don't have the context to know that real, deep, terrible level of struggle, right? Now, so therefore, we're kind of in that second phase. Like if you use the Chinese saying, it's just
Mhm.
like the first generation makes the money, the second
Right.
generation preserves it. So we kind of have the context, the first-hand context of our parents' struggle. So we're like
Sure.
more moderate. But most likely, it's going to be like our kids and the generation coming after that. If they do not have the context, then they're the ones who don't know, like they don't know how good they got it, and then they start squandering it. So I would say that you're seeing that squandering happening now already with the current times. I can see a thought on your head, man.
No, no, no. That's like as in no, no, 100%. Like I just see it, but it's just like, yeah, how do you bring awareness at least to the people around you, like in a way without offending them? Like, like because like obviously no one wants to think they're taking it easy, right? Everyone in their own mind is working hard, right? And they're doing their best. So like,
Well, that's a great question, Kedge, because to me, I feel like a lot of people, if you were to really ask them, they would be okay to admit that they're not giving it their 100%, is my projection.
yeah.
Even my old boss when I was at PwC, he would have been, I guess, 10 to 15 years older than me. Even he was ready to admit, Dim, honestly, like it's just the golden handcuffs, you know. It's hard to walk away from this, but the truth is, I know I have more in me, but it's hard to walk away. So
Mm,
I'm of the personal opinion, and please, like by all means, if you have a different opinion, look forward to hearing it. For me, man, like it really does seem that people are okay to be self-aware enough to admit that.
yeah.
The only way that I have seen a change happening is, in my view, if someone cares enough to recognize that, fuck, like if I don't really challenge myself and give everything my best, I will become weak. And
Mm,
I do not want to become weak.
mm,
And people have different reasons to compel them to that conclusion. But for me personally, I mean, I'm speaking about myself, like I could sense that, I mean, bro, I was making 200 grand a year when I was 25. So I could sense that I could do this, but I could feel like it was making me become weak because
mm,
it wasn't really who I was. Like working as a project manager in corporate wasn't really my full expression. So I
mm,
took this road, and it has been, and I have gone through times where like we had an empty pantry, empty cupboards, empty fridge as a result of the journey that I undertook.
mm,
So I feel like I had to really go through a pretty hard level of hardship, and hence then you emerge as a leader, and you would have your version of that, hence you're a leader. But I would say that, but you have to say yes to that call to adventure.
mm.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, man.
Yeah, man. I think it's just for me, as in like no, on an individual when you get time on an individual basis with certain people, definitely like I think they are aware enough. But I think I feel like some people they don't want it. Like they feel like they're working hard and they feel like this. It's harder today than it was back then, and they had it. Then they can't see that how hard like the previous generation. They just what I mean. Like I feel like there is a bit of a disconnect, but there is a certain level. To your point, the next generation. So that I can't remember the three that you used in the Chinese example, but the next generation will
First, yeah, the
yeah,
first preserves it. Sorry,
yeah,
the second preserves it, the third squanders it.
yeah. So, you know what? My question really is like, how do you break that cycle how do you like really break it and embody that so you don't fall into that trap, I guess.
I think, man, I think that the truth is, from everything I've learned, my bro, the truth is there's always going to be people who are going to need to be saved because
Yeah,
they don't have the consciousness or the whatever, they don't have whatever, maybe their circumstances are such so that even if they hear this and they genuinely agree with it,
yeah,
maybe their circumstances are such so that they just do not have the capacity to do any better than they're doing. Either way, I do think that there's going to be always a subset of people that end up becoming the have-nots,
sure.
and there's going to be a subset of people that recognize that, fuck, this stuff is going to make me weak
Hmm.
and I need to deeply empower myself. So I do think that, and I think that AI or no AI or generation gap or whatever, the reason that the wealth distribution is what it is and whatever, people bias towards what their values are, and if they don't really value growth, they're
Hmm.
not really going to. They're going to end up on the short, yeah, with the short side of the stick type of thing. is what I think. So I think the best that we can do personally, and hopefully you have a different idea to this, because my idea doesn't sound great, but I do think the best that we can do, man, is like is do our best to get this education out. Hey, did you know, man, historically there is something called the four turnings.
Mm.
There is a summer, an autumn, and then a winter, and then a spring, you know. And basically we've lived through a huge summer and now it's cooling off, it's becoming autumn. But it's gonna become winter quite soon, is where we're heading. And you either fucking freak out or you deeply do as much as you can to prepare for the winter now.
Cool, man. And there's a deeper reason why I was asking this, and it's like,
Oh,
'cause as in not a deeper reason, but as in like, so for me, like a little while ago, I made a conscious choice to like not. 'Cause I used to project a lot, and like just I wanted to fix the world, But I found that to be quite debilitating, and so now I've really taken an approach which I'm happy with, is like I'm leading by example, and naturally there's people gravitating towards me, and and I'm helping like a much smaller circle, and they're all evolving, and it's like a really cool. And like the way I look at it is they will then help others, and that will spread. But I think there's a little bit of a calling inside me. Is like, okay, man, I would love to like widen that circle a little bit more and help a few more people. And I was and then obviously with naturally with what you do, you kind of have to outreach. For me, it's not what I do for a day-to-day thing. So it's more just as a passion, like let them come to me and live by example. But I was just more just like, yeah, just more curious in terms of how to kind of tap into that more, and hence the questions on a society level and blah blah blah. But that's just where it came from, to be honest. So
yeah, man. Like I figured that's where it was coming from because I know how much you care about trying to help people, man. And
mm,
um, I think that, putting stuff like this out there and trying to like actually help people and educate people about these things is really good, and getting it in the hands of as many people.
yeah.
And then like honestly, even that fourth turning thing, of the people that listened to it, there would have been varying degrees of implementation as a result.
Mm.
It could be argued that I didn't implement it as much as maybe someone else, like learning about it. So that's what I think, my bro. But that's why also, like, for me personally and for anyone listening, if it's valuable, like, number one, I deeply believe in what Kedge does in terms of he builds wealth, right? He builds wealth through genuine assets. So that is a pretty hard to argue with. That's a pretty solid foundation, is what I mean, right? So then even when things go hard, you still have a foundation of like to keep you afloat.
Mm.
I definitely believe in being, what I have learned. And by the way, I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking, so we'll probably have to throw the mic to Kedge
Sure.
soon. What I have learned, man, is like wherever we are disempowered, we will get overpowered. So you see this, for example, in like those kind of like classic narcissistic relationships where you have basically, we always point the finger and the attention at the narcissist who's basically manipulating the situation and overpowering the other person. But we're not looking at the other person. The other person usually is quite disempowered within their own self and their own voice. They don't really know how to have their own voice. And so, therefore, that's why they resonate with someone who is, like a pendulum overswung in trying to exert power. And together, basically wherever we are disempowered, we get overpowered. That's also how financial scams happen. If we are not empowered in the area of finances and understanding what realistic expectations are and good investments are and blah, 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 if we're not empowered in our financial education, we fall for get rich quick schemes. I'm sure we all have, right? But that's why I really believe in trying to empower all areas of life because that's how the truth is there are the black swans and there are the things that we can't anticipate. And this is the best way to be resilient in those circumstances and hopefully take advantage of them. That's what I think, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. And even the black swans and all those things, man. Like you can't take away what's in here. You can't take away your resilience. You can't take away your drive. So like, even let black swan happen. And I feel like even if the world, someone posted something the other day on some forum is like, oh, do you think property investing is unethical or something like that? And my response was like, I'm not here to debate whether it's ethical or not ethical, right? And you could argue that it isn't, right? And that's fine. But this is the world that we live in. And so we're just going to make the best out of the world that we live in and just like do it. And it's like, if we lived in a different world, I believe that it will be the same kind of people that find a way to make it work and survive and thrive in that kind of world. And I feel like, so that's, and I feel like, and people making these kind of comments, oh, it's unethical, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, man, you need, like, man, just figure, you know what I mean? Like, they're coming from a place of, like, I don't know if the right word is weakness, but just like, man, just like, you just got to try and step up and figure out a way to try and make it work in the world that you live in, you know?
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen, man. Amen, man. It's just like, well, you commenting on it being unethical, is that really going to change anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Um, but yeah, so sorry, man. I know you mentioned you've had the mic a lot today, but I'll try and pivot and do some of the talking. But I actually was curious. You mentioned you did some deep research on like the avatars or the people that your ideal client and these kinds of things. So I would love to go through like the top three kind of questions or pain points that come from that avatar. And I'm happy to share mine. So you're not doing all the talking. Like I'm happy to share my thoughts on those pain points if you like.
oh,
But yeah,
I would
about
love that. Sorry, you
yeah.
were going to say? Please, I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
mean to
no, no,
interrupt you.
no, no. So you can talk as much as you want, but like just so we can shift the, so I can take the mic a little bit. I would love to hear what they are, and I'd love to I'd love to just give my 2 cents.
Yeah. Well, what I might even do for the first time on Namaste Rich is
Yeah,
actually share my screen
yeah,
with you
nice.
bitches. And sorry, I shouldn't. I just said that because it rhymed with rich. That's all.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah, no, that's cool. And
Um,
it's
yeah.
funny because I'm keen to see it because I don't know, it might have changed because I think I would probably fall into the category of your ideal client to a certain degree. So I want to see if it actually reflects a past version of myself or even a current version of myself, just out of curiosity. So
Man, yeah, you're quite a changed man now, obviously. So the reason I'm sharing my screen is because sincerely, I do think that for people listening at home or even watching at home, I want you guys to see like hopefully what can become a minimum standard for you in your own business if you have one. So what I've done is I've fed the initially Gemini using deep research. I fed it my two client avatar documents. FYI, these documents are like I believe they're 10 pages each. So already I've done a lot of work in researching the fuck out of my avatar from a psychographic level. So yeah, so I better not share that one. But basically that's what got fed into here. And I basically said to Gemini, I've attached my two business ICPs here for my men's coaching thing. I want you to deeply research my niche across what my target market is actually saying, commenting, and asking about. I want you to get it straight from the horse's mouth as much as possible. I want you to deeply understand and feel what their problems are, what their symptoms are, and what they feel the solutions are. I want you to do this so I can make content for YouTube and Instagram where I genuinely help the boys, blah, 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 blah. So it's quite a
yeah,
comprehensive like prompt I've given it. I also said use Eugene Schwartz 5 levels of awareness. So I'm sharing this simply because someone watching, like I hope you're doing this as a minimum as well. So then Google has done this on the deep research. Um, and then so because this is where I thought that I'd like to call your attention to a few areas.
yeah,
So to answer your question, man, one of the big themes is they call it the Sunday Scaries, which is basically 30% of professionals aged 35 to 43 experience high levels of irritability and panic as the weekend ends. So we can go into that. Midlife burnout. Is it's a between ages 40 and 44, driven by the perfect storm of financial strain, work-life juggling, and social disconnection. Um, then the other piece that I'd like to draw your attention to, um, this is perfect. So number one, so I basically said, can you compose some commonly asked questions based on the research? I did a lot more than this, FYI, by the way, everyone listening, but I'm just trying to be quick here. So the first thing that a lot of guys struggle with is what they call the knowledge to execution gap, which basically simply means they feel like they know what they have to do, but they struggle to do it, right? Because we're information rich, but we are implementation poor. And we might be intelligence rich, but we're often wisdom poor, meaning that every motherfucker like knows what's in the textbook, but real wisdom comes from information plus experience. So yeah, people struggle to execute. They don't know why. Number two, social freezing. So basically, they don't step up. So example, my boss told me I have CEO potential again today, but instead of feeling good, I just felt sick. I felt like a kid wearing a suit. Where does the feeling of becoming a man actually kick in? So they feel like on the surface again they're presenting in a shiny way, but it's not congruent. There's a lack of congruence.
Is
Number
that similar? Sorry, Jamie. Is imposter syndrome like a similar
Yes,
thing, or is that different? Yeah,
yes,
yeah, cool,
yes,
cool.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Thank you, Kedge. That's
You're
exactly
good.
it.
Yeah.
Number three, I thought this is the one I was rushing to get to actually. The property and financial freedom trap. So, I bought a property apartment in Barangaroo because I thought it would be the exit ramp to freedom. Now the rates are up, and I'm a surf to a mortgage, and I work 60 hours a week to play a place I only sleep in. How did I get this wrong? So basically, financial strain, but Kedge might have some elaborated piece on that. Number four, why therapy and EAP failed. They all a lot of my clients have already tried going to psychologists and it didn't work. Um, and then this is similar to the fifth one is similar to imposter syndrome that you mentioned before, which is basically like basically what it's saying is I can work really hard at work, but when it comes to my own personal projects, I struggle and I don't feel fulfilled with my work. So those are the main things, and we even boiled it down into here you go. So this is what Kedge said: the imposter trap, right? The 2 to 3 year burnout pattern, and then they usually all buy property, but they feel they get stuck,
Mm.
and therapy doesn't work.
Bro, but first and foremost, bro, power, man. You've gone deep, man. Like all power to you, man. And obviously, like the tools are out there, but you've gone deep, and like, yeah, this is how it should be done. And it's like you've gotten right to the crux of it. So, man, well done, man.
Oh, love you, bro.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that, man. It means a lot coming from you because
yeah, that's
go
good.
on, sorry.
No, no, it's good, man. It's the opposite of what I was talking about. The lazy generation. Just like hoping that it just works. You're doing the work, man. You're doing the work, and it's purely coming from a place of service. Like you want to figure out the best way to help the people that you work with, and this is how you're figuring it out. So good on you.
Thanks, man. But I even fucking wrote that in the prompt. I'm like, I think I read it somewhere. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, fuck, this is getting recorded. This is gonna make me look really good. I'm like, I actually genuinely wrote this shit. Like, I genuinely want to help these boys.
Yeah, no, no, I know it comes from that place and the level of depth you're going to do that, man. Like, good on you, man. But man, yeah, Pete, do you want to pick a couple of those out of that and just like let's just yeah, we should have probably just spent the whole podcast talking about this now and we end up whatever. But yeah, do you want to pick a couple of
I
points
would
and
love, I
yeah.
would love to hear your perspective, Kedge. Honestly, okay. Mostly on the ones that you feel compelled to talk about, because I think that'll be more magnetic. So, is there anything that, from what you heard, you feel compelled to talk about,
I'm
bro?
going to skip the property one for now because that's like a whole piece and the strategy and blah 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 and like that's just about getting the strategy right and how to do that. So that's not like I won't go into that one today.
Mm,
I'm keen to yeah, I'm actually keen to some other stuff like so. Knowledge execution. Let's talk about that one. Let's
okay.
let's talk about that because and I want to share some of my personal as well because like it probably took me longer than I would have thought to because I felt like I've got deep knowledge. I've got pretty good networks. Like I had all the tools that I had to be able to step out and do my own thing probably a lot sooner in life as well. So I probably could have done, I'm happy with the journey that I've gone on and I think I've got the skills and I think where I'm at now, things are accelerating because I spent a bit more time sharpening the knife, let's say, for example. But having said that, that also could be a cop out in the sense of, yeah, maybe I could have done it sooner, because I probably had all the tools earlier and then could have been working on it.
Wow.
So I'm keen to. Yeah, understand. Yeah, part of it is safety, and like that's an obvious one, right? Because like when you've already got something, you don't want to like risk losing what you already have. Like that's obviously an obvious reason why. Um, what else? What else is there? Second reason would be is that like just don't want you just don't want it bad enough. Like it's just like do you like is it like do you really want it as bad as you want to breathe? Like, is it just like do you actually want it? Because and I think we spoke about this last week, I believe, because like you can sit there planning for 10 years, but some other guy or somebody else is like, they want it, they just want it. They might be dumber than you. They may not have the wisdom you have. They may not have the networks you have. But for them, it's like a matter of life and death. And that's how much, and so they'll just figure out a way. They'll just go do it. They'll put in the work. If they don't have the network, they're going to make 1,000 phone calls and build that network. They're going to, put content out that looks rubbish. But then in 3 years' time, just by doing it, that by virtue, they're going to get better. So, would you say that's all it is, or like that's like, or is it,
Such
or is it beyond that? Different, yeah.
Such an interesting one, my bro. So for context, everyone listening, like I have a feeling a lot of people probably relate to this. Like it's the feeling of knowing, like feeling like you kind of know that you want to do you know you want to do something different and you kind of even know what that is, but for whatever fucking reason you keep on procrastinating it or not doing it for whatever reason. So I had this really good client who Kedge, who like he had this idea, he's into bodybuilding and he had this idea, what if we can package food up like but for bodybuilders with macros and protein and everything. So and so it's basically packaged food but for bodybuilders. And he had this idea well before Muscle Chef came out, but he never did it. Another one he thought about was like a vending machine for when for like little disposable slippers, shoes for girls at the end of the night after they go to the club, because he noticed that they would take off their heels and just walk barefoot, and he never did it. And so he watched a lot of like passing opportunities, and then in the end he created this phone mount that really blow up, and he was making $20,000 a month off it or more. Bro, um, in my experience, here's the factors that stop people. Ultimately, at the end of the day, my dude, I really do believe in one of the core things that you just said then, which is they don't want it bad enough. And you also use the phrase life and death. So when I think of myself, man, because I did not have the network, and I did not have the guidance, and that's actually a huge wound that I feel like I perceived throughout my whole life, which is like the absence of guidance. Like I felt like I didn't have guidance, and it's ironic because that void has become my value, providing guidance to others. Because perceived that I felt so much pain at the cost of not having good guidance. Regardless, man, yeah, how I was going to answer that question is like at a spiritual level, I felt like life and death level pain because I couldn't find something purposeful to do. Like, because what I was doing was not purposeful, and that was making me feel fucking borderline suicidal. It was making me feel really depressed, And for me, and obviously, like one of the boys, like he died because of that, like kind of similar reason. Like he couldn't really find something purposeful either. Um, so I think that one of them is like you do want to have, if you're lucky enough, you'll have a life and death level of basically pain, because pain is one of the biggest things that actually motivates us to change. Like we usually need the evolutionary pressure to change. I would say that's another factor, by the way, evolutionary pressure. If the evolutionary pressure is there as a human, we usually don't fucking change.
What do you mean by that? Evolutionary pressure?
Evolutionary pressure means, for example, let's say you're single and it becomes quite apparent that girls will only date guys that wear shirts.
Sure.
And it's like no matter how much you hate shirts, you're like, there's so much pain with not wearing a shirt now that's been associated. I'm gonna get over it. Tony Robbins calls it the pain threshold. You
Mm.
need enough pain to get over the pain threshold, and then you're like, I'm gonna wear a shirt
Mm.
you know and a lot of humans have been advanced only because of evolutionary pressure. So for example, like even our parents, And I would say our parents don't really seem to really have growth that high on their values,
Mm,
maybe.
mm,
But I think the thing is, their circumstances were so difficult that it created enough evolutionary pressure that they're like, man, we
mm,
need to get the fuck out of here. Like, we
mm.
whatever it is, we got to change it. Well, what do you think so far, Ketch? Like, I
No,
got a
it
few
makes
more points
sense.
there, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's and my question now really is like on the back of that, because to make it practical for people to then go and do something. So for the people out there that are in that position, like, is it something you just have, right? Because I know obviously there's processes that I know you do through your work, the Dickens process, to kind of show them that what that could look like in 5 and 10 years' time if they don't do anything and whatnot. So outside of that, which is a process, and say they're just listening and they want to go after this and they wanted to go and start, like what? Yeah, is it just you have it or you don't, or like what's the what is it?
To me, the easiest hack out of all of them is proximity. Proximity. Because obviously, good personal development can help you. For example, as Kedge said, it can help you go, oh my God, like it's actually not about who you are, it's about who you're becoming. So,
Mm,
my behavior right now, if I keep on doing this type of behavior, which is example, putting off a project, what kind of person am I going to become in 6 months' time? What kind of person am I going to be in 1 year's time? Blah 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 blah. How is me becoming that person who always is talking about shit but not actually doing it? How is that going to affect other areas of my life? How will it affect my mental health, my physical health? How will it affect my attractiveness, my like blah 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 blah.
mm,
So that's kind of what like I guess coaching would help you do processes like that. But ultimately, man, to go back to evolutionary pressure, the biggest force on human behavior, so behavior, like from the psychological model, comes from what we value.
mm,
But underneath that, the biggest single greatest force on human behavior is your sense of identity. It's who you are. So at the end of the day, and the biggest determinant of who you think you are is who you're around. Because we're humans and we're built to fit in for survival.
mm,
So, and that's one of the reasons people stay stuck, by the way, as well.
mm,
So for example, like for me, it really took me until I was like 28, 29 before I really tried to become an entrepreneur. But that's because I didn't know any entrepreneurs. And the ones that I did meet, I didn't seem to get along with or like. And it was only when I was 28, um, I went to Tony Robbins and I was listening to stuff on YouTube with entrepreneurs, and I remember like there was this dude that I saw in a testimonial on YouTube, and then at Tony Robbins I saw him there in person, and like it was just heaven sent because I went up to him and he was the best guy in the world, and he made me feel real comfortable, and we became friends, and then he introduced me to his other entrepreneur friends, and then when I shared my idea, it wasn't landing on corporate ears anymore from people who had no fucking context. Like it landed on people who it finally hit a fertile ground. So, so yeah, there's a few things I can say on it, man, but I would say a huge one is proximity.
yeah. No, no, I can attest to that. Similar here as well. Like, as in, yeah, there's power in some of the older friends and the loyalty and the things that come with that. But then there's like, yeah, definitely like surrounding myself around others whose life I wanted to almost emulate to a certain degree or parts of it, because it kind of like you almost want to be the dumbest person in the room, right? So then you rise up, you know? So yeah, no, for
Mm.
sure, man.
But
Ooh.
bless, man. Yeah, yeah. What do you think about that identity? Because I think the 2 points that we were looking at there was the knowledge execution gap. And then the other one, man, I thought that might be like a little bit resonant with you when I think back to like what 7 years ago now,
Mm.
potentially is imposter syndrome. I don't know if you even resonate with that one.
No, I definitely did. The crazy thing is, I don't know how to, because I was there and I definitely wanted to talk to it, but I was thinking about it in the back of my head as I was talking, but I feel like I don't know how to talk to it. Like, I definitely have overcome it. I've definitely overcome it. And I definitely had that. But I don't know how to talk to it. So maybe if you
What
prompt me
do
with
you
a few
think it was?
questions,
Can I ask you what do you think it was associated to?
and this could be wrong. So let me just try and think. But then what I was thinking was like, even like when I first was doing content and putting stuff out there, like I felt a bit
Kedge, I apologize. Somehow
Yeah.
my oh no, I'm sorry, man. I think I just
Ah,
dropped for a second. We're back.
that's all right. You're back now. You're back now.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, just I'll just go back a little bit just in case I was missed. But one of the bits of work that I did with you when I was like first doing content, because I felt a bit like, oh, like I was a bit nervous about putting stuff out there. Is like write down who you are actually scared of seeing the stuff. Because before I wrote down the names of the people, it just felt like, oh, I was just scared to put it out there. But when I actually started writing it down, it was probably like 3 to 5 people. You know what I mean? It was like 3 to 5 people really that I didn't want. Like, and it's like, but and it was just like actually taking the time to do that. And it's a very basic exercise, but until then, it felt like, oh, like all these people are going to be judging me, blah blah blah. But it was really just like this, like and like it's to do with part like I told him not to leave and do this thing and now he's doing it and they're gonna see and it looks like rubbish and it's like it's almost like that kind of or like kind of like that kind of stuff. But it was only 3 to 5. And I don't like as I worked through why those people were triggering me or made me feel that way and did the like equilibrium work with you. And after that, like and it's just kind of been natural. And But yeah, please ask me questions because I feel like I'm not
That's
articulating
so
it.
gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, because what Kedge is referring to there is like, our brain basically generalizes information. Our brain distorts, deletes, and generalizes information. So typically, when we are thinking that we're scared that people will see it, that word people is constituted of some kind of content,
Mm,
right? And so then we just broke down, okay, well, who specifically are these people? You're thinking,
mm,
and then usually people say, nah, nah, just nah, nah, just people, just people. That's what people say, right? But
yeah.
then actually, when you break it down in their mind, there's actually like 3 to 5 people. But I'd
Mm,
love to know, like, can you walk us through any when you identify those people? Because maybe someone listening at home can
yeah.
do this, right? That maybe they can think of the people. When you identified those people, man, like what was it that you realized that helped you get over this?
Well, a lot of it came from so I was like oh I feel like I did a pretty good job there, became quite influential, made it to the relative top, was respected, and then I left, because it was something about it wasn't as much as, and everyone's like, oh, why are you leaving? I think we talked about it in the first episode of the golden handcuffs. And I was pursuing a different journey when it wanted to go down the property path and did that. And similar to you, you made a high in corporate and you're leaving and, so then when you go out, you're like, it's almost like a little part of me is like, I'm going to go back and prove it to these guys, because I'm leaving. Everyone told me not to leave. You got it so good. You made it to the top, all that kind of stuff. So, and I think at this point, a little bit of time has passed. Can't remember how much time, but maybe a year or two or whatever it was. And it's like I hadn't quite made it yet and hadn't quite surpassed where I was at. So me going back and doing content and it's like it's almost like cool, people are gonna see where I'm at and I haven't quite got to the heights which I envisioned I would when I kind of left the journey. And there was a bit of like embarrassment, get over it. Fuck. Like first, I don't know. I think honestly, just the exercise of establishing who it was first and foremost, and just being aware that that's why it was happening was probably the most important part because it took it away from just being everyone. I was just hyper aware. And this sounds very basic, but I was like, bro, these motherfuckers, sorry for swearing, but these guys, they don't give a shit. Like, they don't care. Like, they're probably not even watching it. Like, it's not even relevant. It's not even relevant to them. That's not who I'm even talking to. Those are not the people that I'm trying to appeal to with my content, right? So it was just literally just being aware that that's what was making me feel that way, but that's not who this was for. So, like, it's and as simple as it sounds, like I think that's all it was. And as I figured out my audience, I'm like, cool, this is who I'm talking to. So man, let me just do the best that I can for them. And that was my own authority complexes please your senior figures and authority figures and all that stuff. So I had a bit of a authority complex. And even at the time, I don't know if you remember, but I had you as one of those people that I put on a pedestal because I felt like you were out there, you're on a mission, you're doing your thing. And I was like putting you on a pedestal and amongst other people. And I'm like, bro, these people have So I had to like impress you guys because you guys, from what I could see, were the authority figures. So I think taking all of that off the pedestal, was a big part of it as well. So combination of those kinds of things. And I'm making it sound easy. There was a lot of work that went into doing that because it's like deeply entrenched inside you and a lot of the work that was done. But I do feel like it became embodied. And I think as I'm talking about it, I feel like I am articulating it okay now. But I think it's because it's become so embodied, it's almost become second nature now. So I kind of
Absolutely.
forgotten the work that got me there. But I think for the most part, that was it, you know?
That is beautifully said, and if I may elaborate for people listening, because I think so many people could relate to this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, like, yeah, obviously there's many processes that you can do, but like, let's just keep it super simple.
Mm,
Let's say that you're able to break down who those 3 to 5 people are that constitute the people that you're worried about, right? Maybe it can just be as simple as fucking talking to them. If that's what it takes,
mm,
maybe actually talk to them and go, "Hey man, how are you? How's blah 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 blah." Bro, I just want you to know, like, yeah, this is kind of what I'm thinking of doing, and I'm thinking about going about against this. And basically, what I'm saying is face your fear. Like, is another technique. I'm not saying that this is what Kedge did, because I
mm.
actually do remember the moment Kedge wrote it down. I
Cool.
remember exactly where we were. I remember the table. I remember where we were, in the house. And then Kedge wrote it down, and it was like, and I remember Kedge like that light bulb went off, and he's just like, man. I don't care. Like these people don't care about me. I don't
Mm,
really care about this, and it kind of got debunked then in my view. In but for anyone listening at home, if that is not enough, what I'd recommend is why don't just face your fears and turn this mystical phantom, which is not real because it's not real, can take 10 million different forms. Why not collapse this into actual waveform and collapse it into reality and go, okay, call that person and go, hey, this is what I'm thinking of doing. What do you think? Blah, 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 blah.
mm,
And what that's probably going to yield is usually one of two things. They're just going to be super nice and be like, yo, man, you know what? Like, good on you. Good luck with it, blah, 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 blah. Or they might turn out to be a poo-poo head. And if they are, then it also will help you, because then you're like, cool, like it'll actually help you become even stronger. So, but I actually think it's an incredibly meaningful exercise and one that I don't think I really was able to do for a long time because and I think I was really filtering myself or conversely armoring myself a lot and coming across as like too strong as
mm,
a protective shield. But actually, when you do this exercise of like, and specifically if anyone wants the advanced work, it's breaking down the traits that constitute this person that you're intimidated by or you have on a pedestal or whatever. It's writing down all of the traits that you perceive that they are doing and then owning, basically writing down where you do the same trait. And basically in that process of recognizing, oh my God, like all the things that I'm intimidated by this person, I do them as well.
mm.
It really helps collapse this phantom that they're separate from you and you start to see yourself in them. And then it really takes away the fear. So yeah, what a
Yeah,
good
nah,
conversation.
nah, 100%. And then we'll round it up. There's one thought that was going through my head as I was talking about this. Not relevant for me, but I can imagine that a common person that people are scared of or like that holds them back would be their parents. Like
Yeah.
their parents
Mm.
or like close
100%.
friends or family because they're like, because it's like they're breaking the status quo, and I'm pretty sure you could probably talk to it as well. But how in I guess with that being a somewhat of a common one, not something that I had, but how would you yeah, what would be the best approach for that? Because you kind of feel like, because obviously with parents, they're all about safety and you're doing the safe thing and you're going to go out and break out of that. So they obviously trying to protect you by trying to keep you safe, but at the same time for you, that's not serving you. So yeah, how we'll make this the last point for today, but I'm keen to hear that because I think that would be quite useful.
Did just quickly, did you have a similar thing?
Not really, because I felt like I was lucky enough to be able to, I guess for me, I may have, but particularly with my dad, I was able to just like actually have these conversations, and then I
Wow.
felt and then supported and backed, because going back early days, even like man, just even small things like I did my undergrad, but then I was doing my master's in physio, but halfway through I decided to drop out. And like at that time, I had to make a decision because it was full-time sales leadership kind of role, or I had to go do full-time placement. And I was thriving in the sales, and it was coming natural to me. So I'd sat down with my dad and be like I'm just gonna. I had the respect to say, oh, look, I'm probably going to drop out of uni and do this because this is what's coming natural to me. Obviously, he tried to sense check me and was like, sure, blah, blah, blah. But once the decision was made, I had the full backing to then go on that and supported. So I feel like I'm grateful to have had that. But I know a lot of people don't, right? They'll be like, nah, like you're going to uni, like that's it, finish the degree, and that kind of thing. So in that environment, what would
Yeah.
you say? Yeah,
Well, listen, I was 100% in. I didn't mean to say listen to you, Kedge. I mean for everyone.
yeah,
Um, like that is 100% something I definitely 100% went through.
yeah.
Where my parents, I think, were very fearful, and yeah, just scared of anything that was off the main track. And I would say actively held me back through their fear. So,
Mm,
for example, when I was in uni, I really wanted to switch degrees to do psychology, and one of my parents said, "Hey, if you do that, like we're not going to support you. You're
mm,
done."
mm,
you know and when I was wanting to leave, I fucking hated corporate and I wanted to leave and go to Africa and just sort my life out. They were fucking going berserk. They were like, no, you're a quitter, that's what you do, you just quit things. And and like, what about all your experience and all this stuff? You're just throwing it all away, and this is a really dumb decision. And all these bullshit, like half-assed coping strategies is what my parents were suggesting. And then and by the way, I really love and respect my parents, and that's why I'm actually just speaking so openly about it, because I'm not mollycoddling right now. Like I'm actually having enough respect to just say, nah, you fucked up here, and that's okay, you fucked up. Right. And by the way, this is something I speak to them. I have spoken to them about. This is we're going back plus 10 years now.
mm,
So and then, for example, when with the first couple of years of my coaching business, I swear to God, for like the first 4 years, they were like, you should just do this part-time. You should go back and get a job. Or can't you just get a part-time job? Blah, 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 blah. So I just say all that to say to anyone listening, I assure you, dudes, I really, really relate to this shit. Um, I'm going to say 2 points. Number one, don't expect your parents to be any different, right? Because, like, where, for example, Kedge had it sounds like his parents believing in him, Kedge would have had other people who probably didn't.
mm,
Kedge would have had other people at work or this or that. So we always have support and challenge from different areas. So yes, maybe Kedge didn't get it from his parents, but it doesn't mean that Kedge's journey has just been fucking hunky dory. He has his own combination of challenges. But if you are someone that does have like the challenge in regards to the parents, number one, I would say don't expect them to be any different. Furthermore, um, until they see evidence, because what they're looking for is certainty. And usually, right now, by looking to your parents for validation and stuff, you are actually projecting uncertainty, looking to them for certainty, right? So, and then you're getting pissed because they're not reassuring you in the way that you want. So the truth is, the only reason your parents are responding to you with fear and uncertainty is because you are projecting that onto them because you're looking for certainty. So they're trying to give you the certainty that the best certainty that they know, which is just fucking go back and get a job,
mm,
right? So in actuality, when it's really on you to produce the certainty within yourself, not look to your parents for validation of your idea, right? Because when you start to exhibit the certainty and furthermore walk forward with the certainty and actually show that what you want to get to is like you're basically what I'm saying is your parents don't really have a reason to believe in you in terms of this context, you know? So, for example, my parents have demonstrated that they believe in me when it comes to, I don't know, like something that they've seen me being competent in before.
mm.
Right. Sorry, you were going to say something. I have
No,
another
no,
point after that, but yeah, we're going to say.
no, continue, continue.
So that's really the first point. It's like recognizing that the certainty needs to come from within, not from going to your parents for validation. Because that was a huge pivotal moment for me as well, where I was going through this terrible drama with my parents because I wanted to leave my job and they were saying all this shit. And then I remember I spoke to Sunny, one of my old friends, on the phone, and I told him about all this. And then Sonny just said, he gave me like some tough love. And he goes, Dim, since when are we the type of people that talk about stuff but don't do it? So look, man, just fucking decide. Are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? And then just shut up about it. That's it. You just do it or don't do it. That's it. And I remember after that phone call, I'm like, cool. I'm going to stop looking externally for validation. I've
Mm,
decided that I'm going to quit my job and go to Africa. And I've decided to own the consequences of that. So remember,
mm,
I got home and I said, look to my parents, listen, here's what's going to happen. I'm quitting my job and I'm going to Africa. And if you are that upset with it, you can kick me out of the house and I will find somewhere else to live. If that's what it takes, that's okay.
mm,
But either way, I'm done negotiating with you about it. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and I remember my parents just shut up about it after that,
mm,
so it was because I demonstrated certainty.
mm,
And then the thing that may help on this is to find like-minded peers. So if you can build up a safe landing zone with people who do get it, then a jumping ship is easier.
mm. Yeah, nice. No, as you're saying it, I was just like reflecting on mine, and it's like I feel like I probably did some of that by accident, like without not consciously, but without realizing. In the sense of like, so I think I was very certain in what I was doing because I think at that time I knew what I wanted, and so yeah, and that's what, and then also once again mature enough that I always had a pretty good relationship with my dad, so I was like able to meet him where he was at, so I understood where his fears were coming from, and I shared that, and I know, and I was like, I know this is what you wanted for me, and blah blah blah, and I spoke to him that way, so like, so I guess that he felt heard, but then afterwards, like I think I then projected confidence on the journey and the path that I was going on, so. And once again, might have been, once again, a bit of luck, bit of understanding on both sides, but like that is probably what happened. And but
Yeah.
just without consciously doing it, so yeah, so yeah.
Amen.
um but yeah, man, but then just around us, so last point on that and then we'll call it, so linking back to imposter syndrome, so that's like being scared to do it because you're scared of what these people are going to think, right? So you've done that, you've done it. So then now you got to go do the work, right? So you've gone down 2 years down the path and or whatever, one year down the path and it still hasn't quite happened and you still got to do it, but there's that quote unquote imposter syndrome. And instead link it back to the parents part. So how do you then overcome that to do it and remove that imposter syndrome to do it? Or is that kind of what you're saying about finding like-minded people and blah, blah, blah?
I think the benefit, because there's, as humans, we're really built to not be alone, to be in
Yeah.
tribes.
Yeah.
So I think because here's the reality, man. I don't know about you, Tej, but see, for me, when I started off at the gym, and hopefully this is a nice point to leave people with,
Mm,
for me anyway. Um, when I first started going to the gym, I remember asking 10 different guys, how do you get big?
mm,
And this is like back in 2006. So YouTube and stuff wasn't even like a thing really back then. So really the way you found out was like reading books and asking people and stuff. So I remember like going, how do you get big? And to 10 different guys, and I got 10 different really confident answers on how you get big at the gym,
yeah.
right? And I remember like I went through the similar thing in property as well, where it's like I asked 10 different people, how do you get rich through property? And again, I felt like I got 10 different, like really, really, really confident answers,
Mm,
which were backed by their money on how you get rich with property. Kedge might have some words on this, but honestly, and then in the same way, now in the business realm, it's like, how do you get leads? Or how do you solve this problem? And you get 10 different really confident answers on how you do it. And for me personally, the conclusion I've taken away, and Kedge might have some different thoughts, is like, for me, I was like, okay, from a gym perspective, there are like foundational kind of non-negotiables on how you get big. It's usually you gotta like do compound, like heavy movements, like enough volume to like basically there's like the foundations, and then you're going to have nuances based on your kind of chronotype and genetics and whatever your composition. In the
Mm.
same way, for me personally with property, there's just like non-negotiable foundations. And then also you're going to have like some nuances based on your like risk tolerance and cash flow and blah 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 blah. In the same way with business and everything. So, when it comes to like finding the certainty with your business and stuff, to Kedge's point, I would say that when you're around the community, at least then you have the thing is there's so much uncertainty of how to build a business or do this or do this or do this or whatever. So at least when you have other people who are ahead of you on that journey, it gives you some kind of perspective as to where you are in the wilderness. And it helps give you a sense of like, okay, like my compass is going the right way. That's the biggest thing that I personally have. I guess that's why I'm in the mentorship industry as well, because I really believe in the power of being around people who fucking have already walked the path. Is personally what I think. I don't know if Kedge has other thoughts on that.
Yeah, man, fully agree. And like, I think for me, it's like, as opposed to people that have already walked the path, I think people that are walking the path is my tribe, like at the moment, they're
Yeah.
currently doing it
Yeah.
and we're learning off each other, we're sharing, we're open, all that kind of stuff. For people that have walked, maybe I just haven't been lucky enough to find them. I like anyone that has walked the path and I've gotten closer to them. There's been parts of them which I have, I put them on a pedestal and it's kind of like, nah, that's not for me kind of thing. But like, I feel like I've built a tribe of people we're all doing different things, but and some of them are fully unrelated businesses, and we're just doing it together, and like that for me is my tribe. Yeah, so
That's
similar, man, similar but different.
that's a
Yeah.
gorgeous answer, man.
Uh,
Man, we started this call such a sweet way. Maybe we can end it similarly. Just can I just ask sincerely, how are you, man? How is your first week of being a dad like? How are you, man?
Yeah, and honestly, like, yeah, I'm genuinely blessed. I can't even like put into words. It's like it's the best thing. Like, and as in, I don't, and everyone's got different values and different life, but like, man, just highly recommend. Like, highly recommend if I could. I was just like, there's like a part of, I don't know, it's just like this love that you don't know that you have, and it just gets unlocked, and it's just like. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's like, "Yeah." And then now you probably can't even imagine, like, you probably can't even imagine having another kid. It's like, how do I even love another being the same way I can love this one? And he's just like, but it's just like, because he's got two kids now, and he's like, it's just honestly, it just grows, Yeah, yeah. No, it's not like and but right now, I can't even imagine that. But it's like, and for me, it's just given me like, and it's early, and I'm sure I might be naive to think there's not going to be challenges down the line, but at the moment, it's just given me an unlock and even more purpose and drive to do the things that I want to do and build a life where I can be more present with my kid, and maybe future kids and my wife and those other kinds of things. So, and yeah, man, it's just, yeah, super grateful, man, super grateful. So, yeah.
What a journey, man.
Yeah, and as I was talking to another friend just about this content and things like that, just hearing me talking, and he's just like, I don't even have to, he's like, you don't have to manufacture anything. You just got to document it because you're living life. He's like, you're already living the life, and I feel it to be true. Like I feel like I am living it. So I don't even need, it's like, it's the same thing. I know it's just more semantics on the wording, but you don't need to create anything, bro. It's just like, just document it because that's it. And I was just like, and it felt so true to me. So
I don't know. I think that you're in the magic, man. I think
yeah.
you're, yeah, in the magic, and no, and long may it continue, man. But I'm really happy
Thanks,
for
bro.
you.
I'm always, obviously with all the work I've done with you, I'm very wary of the devil around the corner somewhere, and like what's going to happen. So I'm not naive to that. But it coming from a grounded place, and I'm attuned to it. If it does come, I feel like I'm ready for it. So,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah.
But
It's just
yeah,
sorry.
no, no, that's it. I was going to ask you, because I was about to ask you, like, just sincerely, how are you? And maybe just like one thing you're just grateful for the week, and we can round things up.
I'm doing great, man. I had a moment this morning, doing the gratitude meditation, and I felt like I hadn't been doing it properly recently. And then I just got the notebook out and I started writing like all these names, and Man, I think that honestly, if I'm just saying, being honest, like, I come, fuck, man, it's been such a challenging journey, and challenging couple of years. And yeah, I'm just so grateful to be here in Bali with like this beautiful family that has come around me, like in terms of the people that I like live with and blah blah blah. Yeah, the gym and the community, like, yeah, I just feel like I just feel unfathomably thankful to be here. And then the fact that, yeah, I've just got this steady ground for things that are growing. And then, I really am grateful that I've been consistently doing videos and stuff like that. So no, that's the honest answer, man. I think we
Nah,
did a good job today.
nah, we did, man. And bro, I'm number one fan, man. It's like keep at it, bro, because like the work
Oh,
that you do is so powerful. And bro, man, I'm your biggest advocate, and just bro, I'm fucking lived experience, man. And like it's just yeah, keep at it. Like in those moments, just think of me and think of the hundreds of other boys that you've helped, and just fucking that will become thousands, bro. And I know it. So just keep
that's
at it.
so sweet. Thank you, bro. All
Yeah,
right. Shall we wrap up here?
yeah, sounds good, man.
Everyone listening, thank you for another episode of Namaste Rich. I think we really ended it with a lot of love, and I'm really happy if we are bringing smiles to your face, listening along on this journey. Anything from Kedge for your sign off?
Yeah, no, echoing Dim's thoughts, honestly, like I know we've said it a few times, but it's just two really good friends just sharing our journey. And I hope, hope there's a few of you out there that are coming along for the ride as well. And, just repeating, I guess, the meaning behind the title as well. It's just like it's richness in all parts of life and how it all intertwines. So, and none of it is separate to each other and they all kind of work together. So we'll keep talking about all things from making money to relationships to health to spirituality, and that's what's to come, and how that all intertwines. So yeah, please stay on board, and there's lots of good stuff, down the line.
And if you know any friends who might enjoy it, please share it with them because then we're all growing together. Cool. Very
Oh,
good. Until next episode, everyone.